They say the old village was swallowed by living shadows. Only Amara remained.
Amara.
In the town of Iroko, night was not just darkness, it was death. Families vanished. Homes stood empty. And the only hope left rested in the hands of a young girl who dared to face the curse. Her name was Amara, and her sacrifice would never be forgotten. The Last Lantern of Iroko. Iroko village lay deep in the forest, surrounded by trees so tall their branches seemed to hold up the sky. By day, the village was alive with color and sound. Women sang while pounding yam, children chased each other through the red dust, and the smell of palm oil and firewood drifted from the cooking huts. But when the sun went down, everything changed. As the last rays of light faded, fear took hold. Mothers hurried their children inside, bolting the wooden doors. Lanterns were checked again and again, their flames trimmed and steady, for everyone knew one truth. As long as the lanterns burned through the night, the village was safe. But if a flame died before dawn, someone would vanish. It had happened for generations. One moment, a woman or child would be there, breathing, laughing, living. The next, they were gone. No sound, no struggle, only silence, and an empty space where life once was. The people whispered that the darkness itself demanded tribute. And so they obeyed, keeping their lanterns alive with trembling hands, never daring to let the flame go out. In a small clay hut on the edge of the village, 4 young women sat close around a flickering lantern. Amara, tall and strong-willed, sat at the center, her sharp eyes fixed on the flame. Beside her was Ngozi, the youngest of them, hugging her knees as though she could fold herself out of existence. Kemi paced the floor like a restless animal, while Adana plucked nervously at the hem of her wrapper, her voice trembling when she spoke. Every night, Ngozi whispered, I feel it. The darkness watching me. Waiting. Kemi stopped pacing and turned sharply. We live like slaves. Chained to fire and oil, praying the night will spare us. This is not life. Hush. Adana hissed, glancing at the window. Do you want the shadows to hear you? But Amara lifted her head, her voice calm, though her eyes blazed. Let them hear. Fear has chained us long enough. The other women fell silent. Amara's courage was dangerous, even reckless, yet none of them could deny the fire in her words. 2 nights later, the curse struck again. Mama Chika, the oldest woman in the village, lived alone in a hut filled with stories and laughter. Her lantern always burned steady, until that night. The neighbors heard a scream. They rushed to her door, but when they entered, they found only silence. Her bed was still warm. Her wrapper was folded neatly. The lantern lay cold and dark. But Mama Chika herself was gone. The village wept. Some tore their wrappers in grief, others wailed in the dust. But the elders said only this, we must give more oil. We must give more prayers. We must be silent. Amara watched their faces with growing fury. More oil. More prayers. More silence. And still, our people vanish. Her friends clung to one another in fear, but in Amara's heart, something had changed. She was done being afraid. That night, while others slept or mourned, Amara crept to the abandoned council hut. She carried a lantern in her hand, its light trembling as she pushed open the old wooden door. The air inside was heavy with dust. Broken stools lay scattered, mats curled in corners. And then, beneath a pile of wood, she found it, a wooden box, its lid marked with carvings. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside lay a scroll, wrapped in cloth so brittle it crumbled at her touch. She unrolled it carefully, her eyes racing across the faded ink. The words froze her blood. The lanterns are not shields. They are offerings. The darkness accepts them as tribute, claiming life when a flame dies. Only one part ends the bargain, a willing soul, given at the last lantern. Amara staggered back, her chest heaving. The elders had known. The truth had been hidden for generations. They had let the darkness feed on their people. The next evening, Amora gathered her friends behind her hut. They huddled together, their eyes wide with fear, as she spread the scroll before them. Kemi gasped. All this time, we have been feeding it. Adana's lips trembled. Then Mama Chika, and all the others, they weren't taken. They were given. Ngozi covered her face, tears spilling between her fingers. Our mothers. Our sisters. Our daughters. Amora's voice was steady. The curse ends only one way. A sacrifice. Willingly given. The others recoiled in horror. No. Kemi shouted, clutching Amora's arm. You cannot mean this. There must be another way, Adana whispered desperately. But Amora's gaze did not waver. If not me, then one of you. And I will not allow that. Silence fell. The truth was unbearable, yet her resolve was unshakable. On the night of the new moon, the village gathered in the square. The sky was dark, the air cold, the stars hidden. At the center stood the iron post where the final lantern hung, a lantern no one had dared light for many years. They said it was cursed, a flame that could awaken death itself. Amora stepped forward. Her friends rushed after her, clutching her arms, begging with all the strength in their hearts. Please, Amora, don't do this. Ngozi cried, clinging to her waist. Kemi fell to her knees, gripping her wrapper. We will find another way. Please, don't leave us. Adana sobbed into her shoulder, shaking. Stay with us. Stay. Amora cupped each of their faces in turn, smiling through her tears. If I run, we all die. If I stand, you live. That is enough. With trembling hands, she struck the flint. The final lantern flared to life. The ground shook. A wind colder than death swept across the square, snuffing out some of the smaller lanterns. Shadows gathered, riding and twisting until they formed a towering figure with burning coal for eyes. The villagers screamed, shielding their children, but the final lantern's flame burned steady. A voice rumbled from the darkness, deep and cruel. Who dares light the last lantern? Amora lifted her chin. I do. I give myself. Let the others live. The shadow bent close, its breath reeking of ash and decay. One soul, willingly given, ends the chain. Her friends shrieked, trying to reach her, but the villagers held them back. Amora closed her eyes. Take me. The darkness surged forward, swallowing her whole. Ngozi screamed until her voice broke. Kemi clawed at the ground until her nails bled. Adana collapsed in grief, unable to breathe through her sobs. But Amora did not struggle. She did not cry. She let the shadows consume her, her spirit burning brighter than fear. The lantern's flame blazed white hot, filling the square with a light more brilliant than the sun. The shadows shrieked, twisting and writhing, then tore apart into nothingness. When the light faded, the night was still. The darkness was gone. Amora was gone too. Where she had stood, the lantern continued to burn. Its flame never flickered, never faltered, no matter the wind or the rain. From that night, no one in Iroko village ever vanished again. Children played under the moon without fear. Women sang as they pounded yam at night. The curse was broken. But the villagers never forgot. Every year, on the night of her sacrifice, the women gather in the square. They sing softly in the dark, their voices carrying her name into the night air. Amora, the last light of Iroko.